What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler. You're watching Mom's Basement MMA, and today joining me is a professional mixed martial artist from Philadelphia, PA. He returns to the cage November 15th, where he'll be headlining Art of War 38. His name's Ian Allston. He joins me right now. Ian, welcome back to the program. You're looking like Slender Man now these days, man. You look fantastic.
Thanks, man. Yeah, glad to be back. It's been a while since I've been on any MMA media whatsoever.
Light heavyweight debut, 205 pounds. Tell me what prompted the change and how have you adapted physically and mentally to the new weight class?
I mean, truth be told, we've spoke a little bit in the past, but that was heavyweight was kind of never the weight class I was supposed to be fighting in. I would always weigh in around, like, when I fought for the CFFC Amateur belt, I was 225, then I was 230, then I was like between 233 and 237, and I was always fighting these big fucking guys, you know what I mean? Like monsters, guys who were cutting down to the 266 weight limit. And it's just like the nice thing about being a light heavyweight, not light heavyweight, like a lighter heavyweight is you're faster, your gas tank is better. But if you're with a guy who knows how to start quick and knows how to set up their shots, like, you got to fight a perfect fight if you want to get out of there with a win. Because I mean, just like physically, from a physics standpoint, those guys all have 45 calibers for right hands, and they know how to place them when you get into the higher rankings as far as athletes go. So I just I spoke with my coaches. I knew I had to take a little bit of time off, back-to-back losses in kind of the same capacity. I was like, for my first amateur fight ever, when I first debuted for Art of War back in 2018, I was supposed to fight 220 catch weight, and just my guy pulled out, and it was a last-minute replacement for heavyweight. So I should have been 205 anyway. I had been trending towards that with my weight loss throughout 2021 through 2023 anyway. I was like, fuck it, let's just lock in, get the nutrition right, and see what we can do at 205 and below even, because the weight cut's been easy. I hate to say easy because it's like it requires a lot of discipline, and I can't eat any of the things I want. But truth be told, my diet was pretty clean before, and it was just like tweaking a couple of things that would get me down here.
Ian, for you, it's a return to Art of War. This is a promotion that you competed a few times with as an amateur. The last time you fought for them was at Art of War 18 back in May of 2021. So you go on the CFFC circuit for a little while, and now we're back at Art of War. Can you tell me a little bit what prompted the change? Like, what prompted the move to a new promotion? How do you feel about going back to your old stomping grounds here?
Well, I have a good relationship. Obviously, I have a good relationship with CFFC. Those guys are great. You know what I mean? Rob Haydak and Arias Garcia and all those guys. They were always good to me. And, it was a decision that we discussed at length, like myself and the coaching staff, where it was like, okay, we're looking at the competition as far as what CFFC brings to the table. And, any fight that you go there to fight is a dog fight. You know what I mean? You're fighting elite competition all the way up and down. And when you come off of the losses that I have, you kind of have to use your brain a little bit and be like, okay, what do I need? I need a tough fight, sure, to show that I'm still in this thing. But I also need like an experienced guy who it needs to be the right fight is more or less what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are a little evasive about this sort of question. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what can you say? Oh, well, the money's good. Yeah. All right. The money is good. Going from one promotion to another, but I have a good relationship with the guys at Art of War as well. They're close to home, and I knew they had the kind of guys that I, need to sort of get my feet wet again, get my teeth cut. It's been almost a year since I stepped in the cage, or over a year, honestly, at this point. So I need to shake that rust off, and I need somebody tough and experienced that I know is the right fight for me to really get back into it and start trending upward again,
With all that being said, it's a new promotion, a new weight class, and in many respects, I would even go as far as to say like a fresh start. And is that kind of like been the theme about just kind of like where your mindset is over the past few months? Like, it's an opportunity to show the people that have come to know you over the years that, we got plenty more fighting ahead of us, and they're about to see a new Ian Allston.
Yeah, I mean, mentally, anybody you talk to would tell you this game is like 95% mental. You know what I mean? And so mentally, I had to take there was a 6-month period after my last fight where I just didn't spar. You know what I mean? I just let my brain and my body heal. I was accruing a lot of injuries with those short clips of those short breaks in between fights. Like I was fighting every 4 months at one point. And my knee was messed up. My shoulders were hurting. Obviously I took two losses. So you have to let your chin and your head heal. And during that time, we worked and tightened a lot of stuff that we saw as flaws and holes in the game that kind of got us to that point. And I also needed to reflect on my own and be like, why and what compels a person to get locked in a steel cage and fist fight another man for a living. So I had a lot of time with myself where I've reflected on why it is that I want to do this and how much I love doing it. And the conclusion I more or less came to as far as a new start is, I need this competition. I need the lifestyle. I need the fight to really function and be the best version of myself that I possibly can. And in doing that, I expunged a lot of the distractions and other things that I think sort of got in the way mentally going into my fight with DQ and my fight with Valdez. And honestly, if I'm going to tell you, and I'll tell anybody watching, this is like the best I've been mentally, physically, like shape-wise, and spiritually even that I have been in years. Like I would go so far as to go back even when I was first getting on my real CFFC tear. Like I feel better than I did then. And I'm ready to just show exactly the kind of it's sort of a cliche at this point, but sort of the evolution of the game that we've been working on as we go forward.
At what point, Ian, did Art of War tell you that, hey, for your first pro fight with us, actually, we're going to make you the headline fight, and it's going to be for a 205-pound strap?
The strap was definitely a surprise. I basically told them, like, I'm, exactly what I told you. I'm looking to get my feet wet again. I want to get back in the cage. Just need, the right matchup. And they were like, okay, well, I usually move a lot of tickets is kind of I think a lot of the time the way that they sort of make the decisions as far as the card order goes. And I do generally move a decent amount of tickets. So, but yeah, the belt came as a surprise. I don't really I want the belt, obviously. Anybody who gets offered a belt wants the belt, but it's not about the belt for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I would have fought Travis Foster just as like a 3-round middle of the card pro fight. You know what I mean? I'm interested in the fight. And the championship aspect of it, besides like preparing for the conditioning and going into championship rounds, possibly, outside of that preparation, I haven't really given it as much thought as maybe I would have if I was still in the thick of things with CFFC getting ready for a title fight for them. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in the way that I'm not, considering the benefits of acquiring a championship as a professional. I more just mean I'm sort of letting whatever extra pressure may come from a championship fight sort of roll off my shoulders and just I just want to enjoy the fight, you know what I mean, and get into it.
Can you tell me, Ian, a little bit? You'll be going up against a veteran with a ton of experience. His name's Travis Foster. What can you tell me about your opponent? Just kind of where are your thoughts in general in terms of how you stack up against him?
I think exactly exactly how you introduced the opponent is exactly the way I assessed him as soon as I was given the matchup. He's got a lot of fights. You know what I mean? He comes from a good team. I've fought guys from Jackson Wink before. They're a solid team. He's fought guys that I know, you know what I mean? And beaten guys that I know. He's coming up a couple weight classes to fight for this belt. And I respect him for that. And I respect him making the flight out. As far as skill set goes, I feel like it's a solid matchup. You know what I mean? He's got good grappling. He's got good blitzes with his hands coming in. I think as far as meeting him there, when you break it down, right? Travis has 5 amateur fights. I have a bunch of amateur fights, including my kickboxing experience. So total, I have like 15 fights. You know what I mean? He has 23 or 24. It's not as big of a gap in experience as you would maybe see if you were just looking at Tapology, because I have a bunch of fights that are not on Tapology or any of those websites. So what I'm looking at it as is like it's a good, tough fight against an experienced guy who's good at a couple of things. And it's been a good exercise to get with my coaching staff and really game plan against like an opponent who's good in a number of places. Just as an addendum, a lot of the time at heavyweight, you run into guys who are usually just good at one thing. You know what I mean? I would say that there's a lot of, I wouldn't call them one-dimensional, but guys who are really good at striking or know how to set up a heavy right hand. And that's the game that they sort of like come back to over and over again. And so it's been fun actually being like, okay, well, we have to be aware of the fact that this is a guy who can box and this is a guy who can shoot a solid takedown. And we have to be prepared for both of those eventualities.
Well, Ian, I won't ask you too much about your game plan or fight night, but I will ask you, you go in there, you get the job done, you get the strap, and you return to the wing column. Tell me, like, when you consider all the adversity you've been going through the past couple of years, what would like returning back to the wing column and getting a strap for your troubles, like when you like try to like put the emotions behind all of that, just kind of like what would that mean to you at this point to put your right foot out forward and get a reward for it like that?
You know, Ty, it's like all the work that I had to do, because it wasn't just at that time, it wasn't just losing fights that was really what was weighing heavily on me, I would say. You know what I mean? I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that was contributing to sort of like a really poor mental state. And I've been open with that about anybody who's asked. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not a secret or anything. I just had a lot happening that was very tough at the time. And no excuses. Obviously, mentality is part of the game, you know. And if you don't have a handle on that and you go into a fight and you lose because of it, that was your responsibility to have a handle on it and be taking care of your mental well-being before you go in, because you know it's a mental game. But that being said, I think I've done the really hard work I've already done. You know what I mean? I've gotten right with myself, and like a lot of fighters, you know, I've gotten right with God. Sorry, it's really dark in here.
Ian Allston joining us from a cave in Philadelphia, PA,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I've been doing the Jiri approach to training. I've locked myself in a dark room for 3 days. No, but that being said, sorry. Yeah, I already did the hard work. You know what I mean? I got right with God. I got right with myself mentally. I've gotten into shape, and I've returned to like what was the root of the success that I had, and that was the hard work. You know what I mean? And so obviously I think it'll be emotional getting a win on November 15th. You know, it'll mean a lot to me, but I think it'll be more just a representation of the work that's already been done, if that makes sense.
Absolutely does make sense. Well, Ian, I appreciate the time this evening, sir. I know that you're getting ready to, get into your gym and take care of business, but I will ask you before I let you go for the evening, who do we need to thank? Do you have any sponsors, or are there any coaches, teammates, whatever that you'd like to shout out before I let you go?
For sure. I want to just say thank you to everybody who's stuck with me over the last year. You know, I completely understand. If people who knew me from fighting doubted that this would continue, that there would be continued success after the last one, I don't blame them. But I did have people who stuck by me and who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. So, you know, Coach John, Coach Julio, John Marquez, Coach Julio from Semper Fi, Coach Mike Campbell from Marquez as well, our strength and conditioning coach, who's been doing a lot of the game planning with me as well. Coach Joe from Pride Fit strength training. He's been incredible. He's really helped me get into the shape I'm in. And all my teammates, the guys, I call my heavyweight guys who still are with me now, we call ourselves the Buffet Boys. So God bless the Buffet Boys. They're with me since day one. And all the guys at 205 and 85 who've been giving me rounds to help me get ready. Like Jose Soto is one in particular that I would say has been helping me out a lot with giving me really, really good looks, getting ready for this fight.
Well, that sounds like you have an amazing team. It sounds like you have an amazing support system behind you, Ian. I wish you the best of skill on November 15th, and I look forward to having you back on the program very soon, sir.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Always good to talk to you.